freezing out there. Jeez, I'm gonna get a chill just standing here. I need to find some way to warm myself up. And I think I have an idea.
Welcome to another video of Cooking Corner with me, Giuseppe CrimiVaroli. Today for you, we are going to be making some warm chicken and dumplings. In terms of ingredients, you're going to need the following. You're going to need boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You're going to need whole milk. You're going to need Bisquick and flour. You're going to need rosemary and parsley. You're going to need thyme. You're going to need black pepper. You're going to need some butter and some minced garlic. You're going to need frozen peas and 1 or 2 carrots. You're going to need olive oil, and finally, you're going to need chicken broth. In terms of hardware, you're going to need the following. You're going to need various measuring cups. You're going to need a couple measuring spoons. You're going to need a fork and a spoon. You're going to need a large wooden spoon. You're going to need a veggie peeler and a sharp knife. You're going to need a cutting board and 2 mixing bowls, medium to large. You're also going to need a bowl to put your cooked chicken in. And finally, you're going to need a large Dutch oven. I am using a Le Creuset one, but you can use any large shallow pot. Moving on to step number 1. Step number 1 is going to be wash your hands. Because it's so cold out, we are going to boil up some water to wash our hands with. So go ahead, turn on the water, stick your pot underneath, and let it fill up. Once you're convinced there's enough water in your pot, you can turn the water off and add some soap. Then, we're going to cover this and put it on the stove to heat up. Now that our water is boiling, it's time to get our hands nice and clean. So, because the water is hot, make sure to safely grip the teapot with a dish towel or oven mitt, and then just start pouring it over your hands. And then do the other one. And then your hands will be nice and clean. Moving right along to step number 2. And step number 2 is going to be cut and cook your chicken. Now, what you're going to need is 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast cut into cubes. Once you've got your chicken cubed, you can add a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of your pan, turn the heat up, and cook the chicken. Now, I think the easiest way to cube your chicken is to cut it in half hamburger style and then work with the thinner pieces of chicken. So go ahead and cut your chicken in half now. Once your chicken is cut in half, you can start cutting it into cubes. While you're cutting your chicken, now is a good time to turn your stove on to get your pot nice and warm. Once you've got 1 pound of cubed chicken, you can wash your hands and continue with the step. Now that your hands are once again clean, you can add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to your hot pot. Make sure to move your pot around a little bit to get the oil all over the bottom. Once you've got your oil in your pot, you can go ahead and add your chicken. mix it around with a wooden spoon and make sure it gets cooked on all sides. Once your chicken is all cooked, you can take your whole Dutch oven and pour the chicken and all of its juices into a heat-proof bowl. You can then return your hot pot back to your stove and turn the temperature down dramatically. Now that your chicken is all cooked, we can move on to step number 3. And step number 3 is going to be cut and cook your carrots. Now, you're only going to need 1 large carrot, 2 medium carrots, or 7 small carrots. So go ahead, take your carrots, peel them, and then cut them up into little bits. Once your carrots are all peeled and chopped, you can go ahead and add 2/3 of a stick of butter to your hot pot. Once the butter is all melted, you can add your carrots to the pot. Once the butter is all melted, you can go ahead and add your carrots. Saute those for 3 to 4 minutes. Once your carrots have been cooking for about 3 minutes, you can go ahead and add your garlic. Now, if you're using pre-minced garlic like I am, you just use 1 teaspoon. But if you're using fresh garlic, it's 2 cloves. You'll cook this for about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes until it's aromatic. The next step is going to be step number 4, which is going to be make a roux. Go ahead and add 1/3 of a cup of flour to your hot carrot, garlic, and butter mixture. Once your roux has formed, you can re-add your chicken to the pot and turn the temperature down. While your chicken and carrots simmer, you can move on to the next step, which is going to be making your broth. Now, to make your broth, what you're going to need to do is add 6 cups of chicken broth. Once you've got 6, not 8 cups of chicken broth in your bowl, you can add 1/2 cup of whole milk to it. Once you've got your broth made, you can add it to your pot. The next step is going to be step number 6, which is add your spices. You're going to need to add 1 teaspoon each of parsley, thyme, and ground black pepper. Then you can mix it up. Now that your broth and spices are in your pot, you can turn the heat back up to a medium-high and bring it to a gentle boil. Once you achieve that gentle boil, you can move on to the next step, which is going to be add your frozen peas. Now that you've got your broth boiling, you can add 1.5 cup of frozen peas and cook them for 10 minutes. While your peas are simmering, you can move on to step 8. Step number 8 is going to be make your dumplings. So you're going to need to add 2 cups of biscuit, and 2/3 cup whole milk. Then you can start mixing it together with your hands. Be careful not to overwork the dough. As soon as a soft dough is formed, you want to start mixing it and start plaiting it. You'll know your dough is done when it's slightly sticky and wet. Once your batter is done for your biscuits, you can start forming them into little balls about a tablespoon big and dropping them into your pot. They should be light and fluffy enough to float on the top. Once all your dumplings are in your pot, you want to put the lid on and turn the temperature up to a medium. You're going to let the dumplings steam on the top for 20 minutes. So at no point should you lift the lid off to check if the dumplings are done until after that 20 minutes, as it may ruin the dumplings. Now that it's been 20 minutes, let's take the top off and check our dumplings. Whew. These are looking delicious. Let's get in for a close-up. An easy way to see if your dumplings are done is to do the old toothpick test. Just stick a toothpick in, pull it out, and if it comes out mostly clean, your dumplings are done. Now that your dish is done, it's time for the final step, which is going to be plating. So, what you're going to want is a nice bowl with high edges. Then, take a ladle, scoop out some of your delicious chicken and dumplings with at least one dumpling. Go in for some more of the broth. And just like that, you're ready to enjoy. Now it's time for a little taste test. Make sure you get some of the dumpling in every bite. Very hot. Too hot. That'll be fine. I can survive that. Ready? Delicious! A little hot though. That concludes this warm, wintry episode of Cooking Corner with me, Giuseppe CrimiVaroli. I hope you like the chicken and dumplings. I certainly know I did. If you like this video, leave a like below. If there's something you want to see on the channel, leave it in the comments and I'll try to make it for you. If you like videos like this, subscribe to the channel. I'm putting out new content all the time. And stay tuned for our holiday video next week. Until then, bye-bye now.